Guess what?
It's about time, damn it. It's about time. All I get in my notifications is Lightsworn. Lightsworn. Yeah. Lightsworn. When is this 40 card Lightsworn update coming up?
And it is 40 cards.
And it is 43. I don't know who counts in the comments, but it's 40. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's about time we got into this. Like I promised, 40 cards, no Brilliant Fusion. This is a budget. While it has Ulti JD, it's actually only one. We just put it there to make us look rich. I traded I traded in my Infinite Impermanence for an Ulti JD, and yeah, because it looks so fucking pretty, I want to get 2 more. I'm gonna get 2 more. But yeah, so other than that, without further ado, I'll just get right into it. So, of course, we're still playing our triple JD. Nothing really has changed from this last time. This is my favorite card in the Lightsworn deck. You want to play 3 of it, you drop it, it's your boss monster. It's just such a fearful card. I think that's really the biggest thing about it is, like, people honestly make this card way more than it sometimes is. Like, they don't realize, like, you know, obviously I'm trying to push for game with it, but, like, the fear on my opponent's face when I add this card from the Banish pile with Eclipse Wyvern. It's like the game. I won morally when I play this card, not because I played it.
It's usually because they know if one's coming.
The other ones are probably in hand.
One's not far behind. They'll be like rummaging through the graveyard like, shit, how many does he build?
Exactly. So yeah, we played 3 of those. Obviously. The Lightsworn lineup, I still haven't changed. I still think it's the best. Playing 3 Lumina, 3 Raiden, 3 Wolf, and then of course the 1 Felice. I don't want to play more than 1 Felice. I know some people play 2. It's really not necessary. This is the worst one because if you mill it off a charge or solar recharge, you're not going to get it back. Wolf obviously is the best. I almost wish they came out with another Wolf just to see like if I could tune it more to play more copies of Wolf.
This is another Wolf. Did you know?
Yeah, I guess you could play also the Trick Clown engine. I thought about it in this deck. I didn't really like it because I felt that it bricked sometimes. However, I might change it out for some things, and I'll get kind of into that because I didn't really like Photon Thrasher actually a lot for this deck. I felt like it bricked in a lot of the time rather than actually help me. But yeah, so I'll get into that. Yeah, so that's the standard Lightsworn lineup. Just 10 Lightsworns is the perfect amount for your 40 card consistency. 1 Giant Rex, this is just for your Snow and your Gold Sark. It's a free monster. You have to play it.
It's nice when you get 3 Incarnations out of your hand.
Oh, yeah, especially that. 3 Snow, this will never change. You're probably like, where the hell did his 2 supers go? One of my friends who was playing Chainburn decided to play Snow in his deck, and he wanted to play supers. So he borrowed them. But yes, I have 3 supers. Yeah, not a question. I hope that card doesn't get hit on the ban list.
I do.
Everybody else does, yes.
2 Photon Thrashers.
And 2 yes, and 2 Goblinberg. So I think I'm going to take one of these out because of the fact that I felt that most of the time it didn't actually get me to where I wanted to go. It didn't really do much, especially because I would draw 2 or draw into the second one, and having no monsters on board isn't going to happen when you're playing Solar Recharge and you're digging through your deck and you mill through those wolves and things like that. So, like, realistically, I get the point that it is the free monster in opening hand. However, I feel like there's just better options potentially. So I'm thinking, like, maybe playing one of this. And then the Goblinbergs were okay, but yet again, I never found that the card was actually unclogging my hand. It was never like, oh, I'm going to unclog the Wolf. Most of the time, the Wolf just got pitched off the Solar Recharge or off the Lumina. There's so many ways to get cards out of your hand. This is like the last card I feel like that really actually, these are the last cards I feel like that actually start the combo. So, like, maybe the Performa Pal engine might be good in place, playing like a Damage Juggler, a Trick Clown, and a Hat Tricker in place of these, and then just playing 1 Photon Thrasher or 1 Goblinberg. The Photon Thrasher is good, though, because it is a light, so it does count as, like, toward that Link Father for the Curious. But most of the time, you're going to make Curious with, like, a Wolf, Lumina, and a Raiden, or a Raiden, a Wolf, and something else. You can't use Raiden and this to make it because it's also a Warrior. So, yeah. But other than that, the ratio does still work, so there's not a lot that changed with this. I added a couple things, and I actually have a full-blown side deck because I did play this at the regional. I ended up going X3, 4 wins, 3 losses. I was so sad. I was doing so well. I won all first of my 4 games, and I lost 3 in a row. I was so pissed. Oh, my gosh. It was crazy. But, yeah, I'll explain my losses after. 2 Eclipse Wyvern. Still hasn't changed. Still amazing. This is the way you want to get to your JD. It's essentially because you're going to mill it and then just grab it back off the snow. I am still playing 2 Destrudo. This is something I might cut down to 1 for the Perform Mage engine, but at the same time, this card was just so good. It just being able to make that Black Rose was absolutely insane. Even if I drew this card, it was like, okay, it's not a big deal. But I could see the advocation for just playing one because it is searchable off the Eclipse Wyvern, and yet again, like I said, that Perform Mage engine might actually come back in handy, and I might try that in the future, definitely if there is another update, which you guys might request, dependingly. I might play the Perform Mage engine. Yeah, it's going to be requested in this comment section to update.
Like the ban list will drop literally right after we upload this.
Yeah, exactly, like the last time.
Take out for
this. But yeah, so just drew those. You get, like I said, if you only want to play one, you can. I like two. I think this card's fantastic. And I'm playing the one Dark Worm just because it is that free level 4 off that Dragon Shrine if you need it. This actually could be argued to take out, honestly. It did actually save me a game, though, because I played against an anti-meta deck, and he played Inspector Border, and this is a Pendulum. So I was able to activate a monster effect simply because of this. Yeah, but onto the spells. 3 charge, no explanation. This is how you get to your cards. These are the best cards you want to see.
The best spells in the game. For this deck, they just get you, like, going.
Yep. I cut down Gold Sark to actually 2 instead of 3. Some consistency purposes. I felt that the third, I never wanted to see a third copy. 2 actually worked perfectly fine for the Giant Rex. It's like you're playing 2 copies of the free Rota for the level 4, and that's just plenty, you know, because like opening 2 of this doesn't do anything. It's just a neg out of your hand because you're not going to do anything with that card. And if the game goes on past turn 2 in Lightsworn, you probably lost.
Sark for Reborn
you probably lost if it went that far.
Like,
but yeah,
for MSTs and like out floodgates.
This is true. But yeah, and then all the rest is one-offs. The Rota, the Foolish, the Dragon Shrine, the Soul Charge, the Reborn, and the new addition, the Monster Reborn. So I like this card a lot in this deck, simply because of the snow. You can chain it, target 3 monsters, banish the other 2 off snow, and then your opponent's forced to pick that one. So it's a pretty neat tech. It worked out pretty well. I could see people arguing that it's not that great because it does force your snow on your turn. You are forcing a snow for a reason that you might not want to. Like it might be more valuable on your opponent's turn to have that snow than rather than to use the cards immediately, especially because you are playing 40 cards. So there is a limited resource pool with that, and the fact that you have the JDs and you want to keep 4 Lightsworns engraved. But at the same time,
turn 1.
Yeah, that's actually not true. A lot of the time you'll actually be able to mill right to it if you can get to it. Honestly, it just depends. If you open 2 charges of the Light Brigades, generally you're about honestly pretty likely to win. So it really just depends. But yeah, all these are power cards. All work very well. All need to be in the deck. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. 40 cards, like I said. Onto the extra deck. A new addition, Saryuja Skull Dread. This card's amazing. I actually didn't make it because I felt it was an extension of resources. Instead, I would just make always the Curious because this card was a guaranteed to get to snow. But Saryuja can be very good. It's in there for, obviously, because it is decent, and you can special summon Lumina out of your hand and grab stuff back, so it can be decent. Curious, obviously, a mandatory one-of. You don't need to play 2 of this card anymore. It's not necessary. 1 is fine. You'll never make more than 1. One thing people don't know about this card, too, is, like, I think you guys also mentioned in the comments the last one, if this card dies, you can add any card back. So you can even add back cards like Monster Reborn. Most of the time, I'll take JD just because it's the biggest power card in the grave, and that weighs more than any other card in my grave, but this card's amazing.
Because we don't play hand traps either, so it's like...
Not in the main deck, but yeah. So then I play Underclock Taker, Proxy Dragon, and Decode. These are just the generic links to get some stuff off the board because, like, you might want to move that Minerva out of that zone so you can get that 4th name engraved, but you don't have the resources to make the Curious of the Saryuja. So that's why the Decode, the Underclock, and the Proxy are there. Decode's also pretty good too if, like, you fear your opponent might have, like, infinite transcendence. You can actually make a Decode Talker first, like something pointing there, and then drop JD just to clear the board, which is kind of funny. Because that's a new decent card. But yeah, then for the level 7s, Michael, 2 Black Rose. Black Rose is still a necessity at 2. I cannot stress that enough. You'll make it so easily.
I just have a question about this.
What?
Are you going to think about adding the FA Synchro just because it's a free negate?
I don't know. That seems like it's funny to, like, sit on, but honestly, at that point, I might as well sit on Baguska, I feel. But maybe. The 1 Omega still tagging this. I think I made this once in the tournament. It did win the game, but like honestly, it's not necessary.
I played in mine too. I never make the card ever. Like I used to think this deck would tutor it out faster, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's there just in case. Next up, Utopia Lightning Package. I do play the Baguska and the Tornado Dragon. Don't know how necessary they are. Tornado Dragon actually is quite necessary. The Baguska though, I don't think I ever made, but it was there. Then, of course, for the last 2 cards, 2 Minervas. I don't have the second one right now. A friend of mine borrowed it and then never gave it back to me. So I did play 2 at the regional, obviously, because this card you will want to probably make a second. Never really came up, but still, you definitely need to play 2. It is Lightsworns after all. But yeah, so 2 Minervas, that's it for the 15-card extra deck. And now I'll get on to the side deck, and I'll explain my matchups real quick. So I won the first 4. I beat Anti-Meta round 1. That was pretty interesting. We went to game 3 with that because there was Macrocosmos and Inspector Border, and that was like, okay. Round 2, I played against, I believe, Spiral, and I went to game 3 with that one as well, actually. And I just won. I opted second every game with this deck, by the way. So that's something else I didn't mention. I went second every game with this deck, not fearing the hand traps, hoping my opponent would brick, and then I would just be able to have the extra card and the 40-card consistency and be able to kill my opponent. And it worked out most of the time. The only
anti-spell.
Exactly. The only thing that killed me was anti-spell, and that was honestly about it. The hand traps, Ghost Augur doesn't really touch this deck. Ash can hurt, but you just got to play around the Ash. Like if you have Charge the Light Brigade, obviously activate that first before you activate Solar Recharge, or use your Raiden, or try and get to your maneuver before you play the Solar Recharge so you don't neg 2. But other than that, I didn't feel like Ash was the hand traps were really hitting this deck. Like even Droll, like I'm still gonna get my first search off, and that's really all that matters.
Plus Wyvern plays around Droll. So
yeah, exactly. So
and Infinite Transience is just effect Valor. So like,
So like there wasn't really any hand traps I really feared, and like going first, I can't kill my opponent. And that's something you can do so easily with this deck with JD, so I wanted to go second. But yeah, so as far as matchups, there was that, Spirals. Then 3rd round, I played against Dino Shadow, which I 2-0'd. And then 4th round, I played against True Draco, and I won against that. And then for my 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds, I lost against Paleo, because he went first, made Toad and Anti-Spell. And then I lost to Goki. That one caught me off guard. I probably should have went first on that one. Yeah, he just made ridiculous board, and I couldn't get around it. And then I also lost to Mech Knight Invoked, which actually was a pretty good matchup. Or excuse me, I say like pretty good matchup. It was a pretty good game. Like I had a lot of respect for the guy. He was a good player. We actually went to game 3. I was shocked because this deck does have a bad matchup against Invoked. But yeah, it was funny too because he obviously told me to go first game 3 because I had chosen second game 1 and 2, and literally game 3 I opened and just passed, and he didn't kill me, and I was trying. I did make kind of a comeback, but he was able to get over the JD. So yeah, because that's all I had. But yeah, without that, we'll get to the side deck. 3 red reboot. This card's amazing. Didn't draw it against the Paleo. Really wish I did. Absolute nuts in this deck. Fantastic addition because obviously you're trying to kill your opponent in one turn. It doesn't matter. You're going to nuke their entire board with JD. I did side deck 2 Ogres. I didn't feel like they were necessary even though I was opting second. They were just there in case. Like I sided in against Goki. I sided in against True Draco, but and Spiral. But other than that, I didn't really side it against anything else. They were just kind of there. You can't play other hand traps if you have Ash. Like I would probably recommend those kind of cards. Those are expensive, so I don't own them.
If you want to just be Goki, just play Droll.
Yeah, just Droll is honestly the best one. I did side deck 2 Gamma Seals. You can side deck any 2 Kaijus. JD's bigger than all of them, so like doesn't really matter.
And the
yeah,
one.
But JD's bigger than most of them, I guess I should say. But yeah, they're just kind of there to get over boards that like I possibly can't. Like the Goki, I sided them and didn't draw them, but they were there. That Goki drew like 9 cards and played Soul Charge, so he won. Call by the Grave. This card's fantastic. If you do feel like you're having a struggle against hand traps or your opponent sides like a lot of them, or just main dice them, this card's like also fantastic against certain decks. Like I sided this in against Mech Knight Invoked, and he went to attack with Makava game 2, and he lost because I had a JD on the board, and he went to drop Alistair, and I was like, Chain, and he was like, well, I don't have a spell, so yeah, I lose. And it was just absolutely insane. So yeah, this card's fantastic. I did side deck 2 Mind Control again, going second. This card's like really nice if you feel like your opponent's going to make a board because this allows you to just kind of get over it. It was good against the Mech Knight Invoked. Trying to steal that Makaba and force out the negate is really nice. Next up, we play 2 Twin Sisters and 2 Galaxy Cyclones. Just a lot of back row removal. Like I said, Paleo is really, really rough. I still lost them, but
so is ABC because they play anti-spell too. So,
like, yeah, but I mean, like, you know, siding all those cards and not being able to draw one kind of sucks. But, you know, like I said, I did take the risk of going second and the idea that I would have a higher chance of getting some back row removal in or drawing into Destrudo so I can make black rows. Just didn't happen, but yeah. Other than that, I did enjoy. I had a lot of fun. This deck, I think, is like really, really solid. It's really just kind of player preference at a certain point, like of what you want in this deck. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and Rogue Scripts out.